We're going to take a step away from the offseason outlooks that we're doing for each team, mainly because we're all caught up. Just about every team we've done that isn't in the playoffs remaining. And we're going to talk about this Game 5 between the San Antonio Spurs and the Oklahoma City Thunder and how Wemby needs to step up and some of the storylines that have been developing over that time. And while Alex Caruso and Jared McCain and players like that keep showing up big and massive playoff moments, is Wemby ready to step up the way that he's going to need to in Game 6? We're going to talk about all that and more right after this.
Welcome to the number one place for your daily basketball news and analysis, NBA Central.
What's going on, basketball fans? Welcome to another episode of NBA Central, your number one spot for everything basketball related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at NBA Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and talk about this Game 5. Now, this was a game that you really wanted to see Wemby perform better, right? Like, there's no doubt about that people were a little bit disappointed by Wemby. Wemby himself was disappointed by his performance. 4-15 from the field. Yes, he went 12 of 12 from the free throw line, which is good enough. 3 blocks, 20 points. But in this type of game, you needed more from that. Now, they were on the road in OKC. That's always a difficult place to play in as well. You got flopping chants from OKC Thunder fans, which was wild enough. Between the 24 points from Stephen Castle, the 22 points from Julian Champagnie, it just wasn't enough for this team. You had 15 points from Keldon Johnson off the bench as well, but they just were not ready and prepared. You had Alex Caruso with 22 points, stepping up big time for that Oklahoma City Thunder team, and he just continues to have just an amazing playoff run that you can't take a single thing away from him. Jared McCain in the starting lineup scored 20 points as well. You got 32 from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander as well. 28 combined from Chet and 28 points combined from Chet and Isaiah Hartenstein to go along with 26 points between the two of them. That's enough. That's enough. That's exactly what you want. The Thunder took care of business. There's no doubt about it. But the question is, did OKC expose Wemby, or did Wemby just fail to live up to the moment? That's the question that comes down to it, right? Was Game 5 more about Oklahoma City's defensive brilliance on Wemby, or was Wemby just not aggressive enough? We've seen Wemby learn to deal with the physicality much better as this playoffs went on. And that was something that I had a question for Wemby coming into the playoffs as a whole, not just this series. Is he going to be ready to deal with the physicality that people are going to throw towards him in the playoffs? We saw at times during the regular season of the last 2 years, teams able to put physical wings on him to force him out of the paint. And while that has not been as much of a thing that we've seen in the playoffs, I do think OKC Thunder, and for those that are new to this channel, we like to talk about both sides of every argument. So I'm going to talk about both sides of it. We're going to start off with why OKC deserves credit for how they guarded Wemby. They threw layers of defense at Wemby. You just can't take away from that. Isaiah Hartenstein, Chet Holmgren, the perimeter defense as well crowded the space and got in the face of Wemby, and it forced him away from touches. It did. It forced him away from the basket. It forced him away from touches, and it made the San Antonio Spurs supporting cast have to be what beat the OKC Thunder. And as we've seen, they did not do enough in that moment to live up to it. It just didn't. You had some solid performances, but De'Aaron Fox himself with 9 points, you got to put a lot on. Like, De'Aaron Fox is the veteran. You need him to step up. So him going 4-15 from the field with only 9 points and 8 assists with 3 steals, you needed more from De'Aaron Fox, especially with the way that the Thunder were guarding Wemby, and you did not get that, right? So that is the area, the place where the Thunder absolutely deserve the credit for, because you can't take away, that was a game plan. That wasn't happenstance. It wasn't just Wemby shooting cold or the team shooting cold. This was a intentional defensive effort by the OKC Thunder that you saw in the way that they executed it. But I will say this, on the other side of this, Wemby also has to own this. Superstars do not get graded on a curve in the Western Conference Finals. That's just the reality of it. Going 4-15 with 20 points and only 6 rebounds is not going to be enough when your team is trying to take control of the series, and they would have been able to take control on the road before you go back home for your last game at home to try to close out the series. You just can't ignore that. I don't care how much you want to look at what Wemby did in the defense. Like, you just need more from that from Wemby. And for a player that people are talking about, is he already one of the top 5s or even the best player at the NBA? You need more from Wemby than that, right? And I think this is where superstar accountability plays a part into this. That is what this moment is for Wemby. It's about superstar accountability. The talent that he has is absolutely unquestioned. You can't take away from that. But now the question becomes about whether he can impose himself when the other team is built to slow him down specifically. And if he can do that and adjust to that in Game 6, then we may get a Game 7. And, it'd be an exciting Game 7 nonetheless. But this is where being a superstar matters. This is what separates the goods from the greats. This is why, I personally say there's only a 3 or 4 or 5 superstars in the league. There are stars, but true superstars, I just judge at a different level. These are the type of moments you need a superstar to stand up. And so in Game 6, we're going to really get to see, is he ready for that moment? Is Wemby really ready to be that transitional superstar player that can lift his team up? Because now you need to put the team on your back. You're going to be at home. You have to get this done in Game 6 or you're going home. And so it becomes about that, because now the Thunder, and this is what the Thunder do so well, they just, as the season goes on, they try to take away the things that you've relied on, the things that have become strengths for you. And as long as they're able to do that against the Spurs, it's going to be a long series for them and a long night in Game 6 as well. But part of the questions that you have to ask here is, are De'Aaron Fox and Devin Vassell getting enough of the blame here? And I don't think it's too much to blame, the fact that they didn't support Wemby when they had. If De'Aaron Fox and Devin Vassell had stronger games in the way that they were guarding Wemby, it would have forced them to do better. 15 points combined from De'Aaron Fox and Devin Vassell isn't enough. They would have combined 6 of 26 from the field. That is not enough to get it done. I'm not blaming it all on them. Make no mistake about it. You could have had other players to step up as well, but your starters, you played 33 and 36 minutes respectively. You need more from them than that, right? So I don't think it's too much to, blame them a little bit, right? But let's talk about this. Of course, Wemby is the franchise player. Wemby's the centerpiece. And when you are the centerpiece, the criticism is always going to start with you. It's just the reality of it. The similar ways in football, the quarterback is going to get an undue amount of the blame and the acclaim depending on how the team goes. That is the same thing when you are the star on a team in the NBA. The Spurs' entire ceiling is tied to how much Wemby can dominate. But at the same time, your supporting cast failed you. Fox had 9 points and 4 of 15 shooting. Devin Vassell, 6 points and 2 and 11 shooting. That is not enough. This is not playoff level support. You still need your players to support you in that. And if you don't get that, that's when you get games like this where you completely wet the bed. And overall, the Spurs in this game too, 40% shooting from the field, 29% shooting from 3. And when the Thunder themselves shoot 44% from 3 and 48% from the field, it's no matter what Wemby did, you're going to need more than that from your supporting cast. You have to have that. That is why depth matters so much when you get into the NBA playoffs. No matter how good and how top-heavy you are, your depth has to play well, and you didn't get that, right? Wemby, yes, has to be better. There's no way around that. He has to be better. But De'Aaron Fox and Devin Vassell cannot be passengers along the ride for where Wemby's going to take them. You need them to step up as well. If OKC is going to be able to collapse on Wemby without fear that San Antonio's offense is going to do something without that, then you're far too predictable. And for a team like the OKC Thunder that are so defensively sound, could throw waves and waves at defenders at you with all different looks, then that's what's going to happen. That is the place that you're going to end up if that's what you allow to happen. So the supporting cast has to be better for Wemby in Game 6. Wemby also has to be better. You need to see a total team effort from this team in Game 6 if they don't want to get their asses sent home in Game 6. That's just it. And Mitch Johnson, as a head coach as well, is going to have to step up. He's going to have to figure out a way to motivate these guys, a way to get these guys open. And you have to, in my opinion, go into Game 6 assuming that the Thunder are going to be able to nullify Wemby about as much as what he did and come up with a game plan. Now, I also, that's not to get Wemby off the hook. I need to see Wemby be better, perform better throughout the entirety of that game, but you're also going to need better from your supporting cast. And if you can get that, you can get back in the game. But the storylines for the Thunder in this one, we got to talk about Alex Caruso, not just because he's a former Bull, whatever it is, but Alex Caruso has become maybe the most important non-star in this series, right? And some people, he's having a star-level performance in this series, no doubt about it, but, Alex Caruso's not a star. He's just not. And I don't mean that as a slight. Alex Caruso is a very high-level role player, but when you look at it, he averaged 6 points per game during the regular season on 42% shooting. And for people that just look at things surface level, would look at that and say, how is Alex Caruso killing you like this? He averaged only 6 points per game against the Lakers in the playoffs, only 9 points per game against the Suns in the playoffs. But against the San Antonio Spurs, Alex Caruso is averaging 17 points per game on 56% shooting from the field, 58% shooting from 3. And he's doing that with 2 rebounds, almost 3 assists per game as well, a steal and a half, and a block per game. Alex Caruso is absolutely filling this thing up. And when you talk about the need of a supporting cast to stand up and stand out for you, Alex Caruso is living that, right? And so to answer the question, on the side of this, that absolutely, he's the most important non-star in this series. The defense, the decision-making, the playoff composure, the shot-making that he's done, the toughness that he's brought to this team, he's the exact kind of role player who can swing a playoff series and a championship series at that. That is what he's doing. But I think also you got to give credit to OKC's system. Now, I'm not saying that Alex Caruso is a system player. He's not. We saw the impact he had on the Bulls. We saw the impact he had on the Lakers. This is just who Alex Caruso is as a player, right? And while Caruso is extremely valuable, the Thunder are winning because collectively, the depth, the discipline, and the defensive buy-in that they have from top to bottom for this roster, you cannot take away from it. Caruso is the type of player whose box score will almost never fully explain the full value that he has. But in Game 5, the box score actually did. And that's what really stands out. The 22 points off the bench, the threes, the steals, the leadership, all that. Alex Caruso has been playoff gold for this OKC Thunder team, and you can't take away from that. But there's another player as well. I mentioned earlier, Jared McCain. The question that everybody's asking now is, did the Philadelphia 76ers blow the Jared McCain trade? And I'll say this, my personal opinion, yes. Now, you guys know, like I said, I like to talk about all sides of every argument here, so I'm going to talk about both sides of it. So if people hear, Haize, why are you trying to make a case for the Philadelphia 76ers, the fact that they didn't blow this trade? It keeps me honest in my conversation. I'm a solo host. I like to talk about all sides of this. But did they blow? Did the 76ers blow the McCain? Yes. They sold way too early in Jared McCain. Yes, he wasn't having the necessary impact that he had as a rookie, but he was coming back from injury, all those type of things. He's starting playoff games for a team that is making a push towards the NBA Finals. That alone makes the sold high thing an absolute, no, you did not sell high. In this series against the Spurs, he's averaging 13 points per game on only 35% shooting. It's not even great shooting. 11.5 points against the Lakers, 3 points per game against the Sun. But at the same time, Jared McCain is a player that we've seen the flashes of. And now it seems like he is on a team where he gets to play in his role. He gets to thrive in that role. And it's great. Now, the context does matter in that. The 76ers made a roster-building decision based on the timeline and their depth at the guard rotation. They had tons of guard and wing depth, and it is what it is. Now, does one strong playoff game automatically rewrite everything? No. But this is why you have to be careful of giving up shot makers that have showed things. In today's NBA, guards who can create their own shot, shoot, and stay composed under pressure become extremely valuable. And that's what we're seeing right now from Jared McCain. And especially in the playoffs, he's killing it. So the question here to end all this, right, and to ask this final question is, did Game 5 break the San Antonio Spurs mentally? Did OKC finally break them mentally and they're just going to win this? Here's the thing. Game 5 was a bad night for the Spurs, right? But I do think that there is now a psychological shift in this series that you just can't, right? The side of this that they cracked under pressure. The San Antonio Spurs got punched in the mouth. And at the end of the day, when you look at the rebounding gap, the foul trouble, Wemby's frustration, it all points to a young team that felt the pressure of that moment and did not live up to that pressure. But the Spurs can still respond. The series is not over with yet. And we've seen the Spurs respond already, right? They're going back home to Game 6. If they want to keep their season alive, they have a chance to do it on their own court. Now, you guys know I came into this series, this playoff, saying how young teams usually don't have the playoff success. The Spurs have already shown that they are farther along than I thought that they were. Young teams can grow fast. They can adapt. And Wemby has already shown that he can bounce back, as has the Spurs team as a whole. Game 6 becomes not just about adjustments, but it's about the response. How do you respond to that? The Spurs have to prove that they're not just talented, but they are tough enough to respond to getting embarrassed and come out there and leave it all out on the court. Can they do it? I mean, for the interest of Game 7, I hope that they can, because this has been a fun series, and I would not like to see it end with the final 2 games of the San Antonio Spurs just cracking under pressure. So we're going to see. That's going to do it for today's episode. The Thunder have complete control of the series right now, and the Spurs are going to have a major response incoming with this, and we'll see if Wemby and the team can do it. They are facing what could be the make or what is. It can't be. Like, either they respond well in this game or they go to fuck home. That's the thoughts of it. So drop your thoughts down below. Did OKC expose Wemby and the Spurs, Or was it just one bad game that the Spurs are going to rebound from? Let me know what you guys think on that down below. Make sure you guys are following us at NBA Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. NBA Central Show at gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the number one spot for everything basketball related. And I'll catch you guys the next time I feel like making a video. Probably tomorrow. Peace, y'all.
Been a presentation of the Breaks Media.